Mr. Edgar Perez. Welcome.
It is only a few times that a technology is going to go mainstream very quickly. 40 years ago, the internet arrived, meaning that the information that we finally got access to was available for everybody. The information was available before, but it was hard to get. It was difficult to obtain. The internet, through the browser, allowed us to get access to that information, opening this world to billions of people around the world. Later on, in 2003, a dropout from Harvard University started a small network that wanted to compete with MySpace, a giant network that had 100 million users. It would have been a difficult challenge. Today, Facebook has 2 billion users. Similarly, Steve Jobs brought a number of innovations, starting from the iPod, the iPhone, and the iPad. These innovations, again, expanded the reach of the internet to millions of people, because now accessing information, connecting with friends, publishing content became easier using these tools. Equally, 7 years ago, Douyin expanded. The company decided to take this product global. And today, 1 billion creators and consumers of information cannot stop accessing this tool every day, TikTok. We see today that ChatGPT has been on the news pretty much every day. And it became very fast. We see today that 100 million users have been using the tool already. However, only in the first 5 days, 1 million users were already using this, and only using word of mouth. There was no advertising, there was no campaign. It was all about sharing a great experience. Now, at that moment, it was the fastest growing app available. However, in a sign that technology changes so fast, let me tell you now the story about Threads. Threads was launched this week, and in hours, it got 10 million users. In 24 hours, got 30 million users. And now, it has had 70 million downloads, reaching such heights in a very short period of time. That's what makes technology amazing, to see how these applications can grow so fast. Today, ChatGPT is just one example of what generative AI, AIGC, is all about. Now, we are not only using AI, AI is becoming our partner, our co-creator, allowing us to focus on probably even higher value activities, while routinary or repetitive tasks can be automated. And let me tell you, any job where it's going to be the job of the CEO, of the customer service representative, will have some activities that can be automated, meaning that AIGC, generative AI, will have a place. We can think about these technologies as leveraging powerful large language models, which basically mean models that can understand language. And of course, any language is complex to analyze. It's complex to understand. If you think about the English language, we talk about 40, 50,000 words. How do you understand how the computer can recognize this language when the computer only understands zeros and ones? We have to put this language in a format that a computer can understand. We can think about vectors that are going to be 40,000 elements long. One word is going to be 10000, another word might be 01000, and so on. However, when you're going to manipulate these words, you're going to need to think about multiplication matrices. And that becomes prohibitively expensive and time-consuming. That's not the way to go. We know that languages have regularities. We know that green, black, white, and red are colors. We need that in a space of all the words in a language, man to woman, boy to girl, king to queen, should have a similar distance. So that's the type of patterns that an LLM would be able to understand and recognize, helping them to understand meaning of language and facilitate tasks like translations, like classification, like autocomplete, this famous ability of LLMs to predict the next word. So LLMs, they are powerful. They have a lot of information to be trained on. They use billions of parameters. Some models today use 540 billion parameters, which are known hyperparameters in machine learning. But that's not the only development. We can also talk about image generators. And in this case, we can think about how to classify all available images. For us, we can only conceive up to 3-dimension worlds. However, if you want to classify images, think about a banana and an apple. An apple could be red, a banana could be yellow. So if we have a 1-dimension world, the yellowishness of the banana is going to be on one side, and the redishness of the apple is going to be on the other side. However, they have different shapes. So we can use a second dimension, a roundness. However, we can think about another dimension, shyness. What's shiny? A banana? No. An apple? Yes. So 3 dimensions already. And we can only look at 2 different types of objects. To understand pictures, we need to think about many more dimensions. And that's what these models are able to do. We don't even know what dimensions. Can you imagine a world with 450 dimensions? That's what these type of models can do. For us, we cannot even imagine this. We cannot even conceive what type of features this model is discovering to be able to create a multi-dimensional space that pretty much incorporates all available pictures. And not only that, any point in this multi-dimensional space potentially is going to become a new image. And that's what we get through this diffusion process. The wonders of AIGC come now to enterprise digital marketing and service. Because now we can think about expanding the reach of these technologies. It's not only about me creating a model. Now I can think about a copilot that is going to help me achieve tasks that would have been difficult to do in the past. In the same way, no serious programmer today cannot stop using copilots to help them code and to reduce the time they used to spend to develop software, to maintain software. The same thing will apply to marketing, because we can also use a copilot in marketing that will help us automate, optimize, become more efficient when we deal with clients. AIGC, generative AI, is going to have an impact on every step of the customer journey. Awareness, of course, I want to make sure that I can reach to more and more customers that will be inclined to consider my product, which is the next stage. I can encourage them to purchase more and more products and services. I can increase their loyalty. And ultimately, I can make sure that they can share their experience. If it's an out-of-the-world experience, hopefully they will share that on social media. So AIGC will have an impact on every stage. Now, if you are reasonable and you believe that AIGC will help you improve awareness in your target market by 10%, that's going to have an impact in all different stages of this journey. If AIGC can help you improve consideration from customers by 10%, again, that will have an impact across the next stages. So if you improve your performance in every one of these stages, you are not only improving 10% across your marketing and service functions, you are really compounding the impact of these improvements. So 10%, 5 times, meaning 60% of potential improvement in your marketing function, obtaining only 10% improvement using AIGC in each of these stages. And that's only reasonable. You can be more ambitious in expanding the potential of your applications for generative AI. There's a lot of information about customers. However, it is a challenge to obtain information in real time. When you think about having information of your customer across all different channels, points of contact, that becomes a challenge. However, with AIGC, with a co-pilot, your customer service representatives might be able to obtain that information pretty quickly, even though they might be new to the company. From day one, they might be using already a model, fine-tuned, that allows them to answer questions from customers in real time, not spending minutes trying to find information across documents or looking at information across different channels, but immediately. And that's going to be part of the beauty of the application of generative AI. We can think now about personalization. Because now, with the availability of these type of tools, we can think about offering products and services that will recognize customers' needs and interests. We can create content that will be focusing not in the whole market, but in particular segments, for example, in particular channels. So that it's a new path for improvement in our marketing function. Now thinking about personalization. Personalizing means also creating messages. Users today are well prepared to recognize when a message has been blanketed across all my customers. They would like to be more open to messages that cater to their particular needs, their particular persona, their particular requirements. If the message includes some references to past customer history, that's what customers will appreciate and will recognize. And that will increase the impression they have from your marketing and customer service function. Furthermore, every step in the customer journey should be a moment for us to improve our marketing capabilities. I used to work for a company called 1-800-Flowers back in 2000, when the internet was really in the nascent stage. And there was a number that all of us remember pretty quickly. That was the conversion rate. So out of 100% of phone calls that we got, how many of them were sales? Usually, during the busy holidays in America, like Mother's Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, many of these calls, 60%, 70%, were sales. People wanted to buy presents for their friends, for their relatives. Other times, not so much. So conversion suffered because some of these calls might have been for recommendations, for customer service questions, and so on. And people really suffer. Compensation was sometimes tied to conversion rate. However, now we can actually think about these other calls too, because even though these calls don't start as purchase orders, they can actually be an opportunity for us to expand the relationship, to offer clients an opportunity for us to pitch products and services that they might not have considered at the moment they made the call. But nonetheless, thanks to the availability of the information in real time using generative AI, we can finally find a way to offer this to the client, improving our marketing function. So chatbots will leverage these models. We don't need now to train a model. We can use a general purpose GPT, for example, using the APIs, and then leverage that to fine-tune our own model. For marketing, there is going to be a model there that will basically have my own information, that the whole body of knowledge that my company has accumulated throughout the years is available for my client through a copilot. If I am able to surprise the customer, if I'm able to impress him, how come not should I expect that the client is going to be able to share this information with friends in social media? Now with generative AI, I am able to create images, high-resolution images for my products, for example. I want to show them how this product is going to look if they want to buy, let's say, a sofa, how this sofa is going to look in the living rooms. And I can provide many different versions of high-resolution pictures of how this sofa is going to look so beautiful in the living rooms. That's added value. And that's something that customers could appreciate and eventually push to their friends, to their relatives, through word-of-mouth marketing. Overall, generative AI is in the path to improve efficiency and productivity in our marketing function. Now, companies already are using this, and this starting from the company that started this all, OpenAI. OpenAI is already using ChatGPT itself for sales support, for programming support, for example. It's obvious that they need to start using this because they want to set an example to other companies as well that the possibilities using this technology are endless. And many more applications will come, for sure. Many will be niche applications, but still, if we think about a co-pilot that is helping us in our marketing function, it will be incorporated in this big program that will be great help for marketers, for customer service leaders, and overall executive management. Because at the end of the day, when you think about leading generative AI in an organization, we need to think about what other companies are trying to do, and we need to follow best practices. Before we think about implementing generative AI, we need to think about goals and objectives. We need to know why we need to use, what type of capabilities I want to use. Is this going to be only generating content? Is it going to be automating some repetitive tasks? Of course, we need to figure out what type of model we're going to use. We need to make sure that the data that we are incorporating doesn't include biases. It's the right data, updated data. We also need to fine-tune this model because we need to think that the outputs are going to also have a review from humans. We need to make sure that our own experts review. The models can be great, but let's remember, these models are not perfect. So we still need a human input to make sure that the output is going to be appropriate for our clients. And finally, we also need to monitor these results over time. So our clients are happy with this model, that it's improving the performance of our marketing function. The CEOs of the companies are the ones who are going to have the direction. They're going to set the vision, how AI is going to help my company. What type of alignment I need to have with AI, with my organization's mission, business objectives, and so on. And of course, the CEO will be the one going outside to introduce the vision of the company. What's the company thinking about AI? A CEO needs to communicate with clients, board members, stakeholders, employees, and many other people around. The CEO also can give us an example of how to use this technology. When you think about CEOs, they can also use AIGC. They can also show employees that they can be very good sending emails to the whole organization using images generated by an image generator. That sets the tone across the organization. And the CEO also needs to prepare talent, because we need people who will know about these technologies. 30 years ago, we used Excel. We used Lotus. I don't know if many of you remember that. And only a few people knew about that. Today, everybody in the organization needs to use these type of tools. In the same way, in the future, every employee in the organization will need to use these tools. So the CEO will be the person creating this culture of innovation across the organization. So it's great to use these technologies because it's helping us to improve the performance, not only of the marketing function, but also the performance of the company overall. A few years ago, I had a chance to share the stage with Richard Branson, the chairman of Virgin Airlines. And when we had his presentation, he came not alone. He brought a team of flight hostesses from Virgin Airlines. And when he was talking, the hostesses brought cards and went around the room offering drinks, snacks to all attendees, like if they were on a plane. Why do I mention Richard Branson? You might be able to see his face, his picture with me in my WeChat channels, MrEdgarPerez.com. I mention because the future belongs to the people who dream that they can change the world. They are fool enough to believe that they can change the world. They are the ones who end up changing the world. So today, we talk about AI 2.0. And that creates a lot of opportunities for companies to improve their marketing functions. Let's look to the future. Let's be prepared for the future. So soon enough, we'll be ready for AI 3.0, a new world of marketing and service that will involve not only generative AI, but the technologies of the future, such as 6G, the metaverse, quantum computing. So let's be inspired to always look forward to improve our performance and to be open to the technology changes that come in the future. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mr. Edgar.